A very good morning, Team Zimbabwe. A very good morning, Team South Africa, and welcome to Africa and Beyond Television Network. We are taking a look on what is happening in South Africa elections. So far, we hoped to see the election results coming out yesterday, but we couldn't find them all night. And we are here to update you and to tell you what is happening at this point in time in the nation South Africa. This is the most interesting election for the people of Zimbabwe, and everybody is following this election. So what is happening is we are at 97% so far. We are at 97% so far already completed in terms of counting, and ANC is losing. There are no prospects of ANC doing anything better than what they've done already. So this is what we need to take a look upon and understand what is really happening and what is really transpiring. What the results as of now at 97%. This is 97% of the whole election, and a lot has happened overnight. So if there are negotiations, I can safely tell you that already they're negotiating, trying to find each other and trying to find ways for coalitions. But let's get straight to what is happening at this point in time. We are at 97% as I pointed right here on my mouse. Check on your screens. This is 97% so far, and we are at 22,594 out of 23,292. So we just only have a few left so far. And that is less than 1,000 left so far. ANC is leading with 40.15%. They fell from what they had before we slept yesterday, and DA is at 21.70%. MK, they've risen to 14.82%, and with the remaining vote, there are prospects that the MK might reach 15% of the vote. EFF is down to 9.36%. IFP is at 3.97%, and PA is at 2.03%. This is the top 6 of this election. These are national elections, and let us break them down to provinces and understand what is happening at provincial levels, which province is complete and which province is not yet complete. So we are at 97% nationally. Let us go to Eastern Cape region. This is the Eastern Cape region right here with us, and Eastern Cape region is at 96.59% complete, 96.59% complete out of 4,767, 4,867. They've completed 4,701 out of 4,867. This is Eastern Cape region for you. It stands at 96.59%, and the ANC is leading there with 63.86%, DA trailing at 13.76%, and EFF is at 10.11%. This is the Eastern Cape for you. These are national assembly results, and this is the position so far in the Eastern Cape. Let us go to the other province. Remember, at around 96%, you are almost done. There is nothing of great significance which will have to happen for the ANC to survive this. Let us go to the Free State. Free State, with Free State region. Free State region right here. Free State region is standing at 99.62%. 99.62%. This is the Free State region, and 1,580 out of 1,586 have been completed, which means they are left with around 6 polling stations in this region of the Free State. ANC is seated at 52.55%, and DA is seated at 21.58%. EFF is at 13.93%, with VF Plus at 3.11%, and MK Party is at 2.24%. These are the results for the Free State. Let us go to the next province after the Free State with the Gauteng region. Gauteng region It's quite interesting there to see what is happening in the Gauteng region. Let us get to the Gauteng region so as to understand what is really transpiring and what is really happening there. We are at 91.53% in the Gauteng region, 91.53% in the Gauteng region there. And let us take a look. The ANC is at 34.25%. They improved from yesterday. They improved quite, and DA is sitting at 27.67%, and EFF is sitting at 12.89%. This is the Gauteng region election result, and MK is on number 4, but we do not have the actual result for the MK here. So this is what is happening, and we continue to watch and see what is going to happen next. But the counting is at 91.53%. The entries are 91.53% in the Gauteng region. And let us go to the next province. The next province right here, we need to understand what is happening with the next province after Gauteng. Let us go to KwaZulu-Natal, KZN region. KZN region is also interesting. Okay, they're at 98.33%, 98.33% for the KZN, and MK is leading with 44.81%. IFP is on number 2 with 18.36%, and ANC was on number 3 with 17.27%. DA on number 4 with 13.44%. EFF is on number 5 with 2.36%. These are the results for the KwaZulu-Natal at 98%, 98.33%. It's almost complete in that region, and Jacob Zuma has done well. They've done well, which means there are no prospects of ANC doing anything better. Mpumalanga, let us go to Mpumalanga. This is the next province, the province of Mpumalanga. It stands at 96.52%, 96.52%, and the ANC is at 50.92%. MK is sitting at 17.05%, EFF 13.95%. This is Mpumalanga province for you, and these are the results. DA sits on number 4 at 12.07%, and VF Plus sits on number 5 at 1.59%. This is what is happening there in Mpumalanga. If you are seeing us live here, please send a message through the comment section so that we can have an interaction. Please send a message through the comment section. If you are following, send a message through the comment section. If you have anything to ask so far, feel free to do so. Let us go to the next province after Mpumalanga. We have Northern Cape region. Northern Cape region, I think yesterday we talked about it. Northern Cape region, it's already done. They have done with the counting, with the entries. It's 100% complete. ANC is at 49.47%, DA 20.94%, EFF 13.23%. PA Patriotic Alliance is at 8.6% in the Northern Cape. Northern Cape is the smallest, and this is what is happening in that region, the Northern Cape region. Let us go to Uzumba Maramba Pfungwe, Limpopo province, and see. Limpopo province has failed, ANC has failed Ramaphosa because there is nothing significant or nothing different which came out of this election. Just remember that out of around 2.7 million registered people in that province, only around 1.2 million voted. Out of 2.7 million registered voters, only around 1.2 million people voted in this election. And the counting or the process is at 98.29% complete, 98.29% complete, which means there are no miracles for the ANC here. I do not see any miracles coming because 3,161 have been logged in out of 3,216. So it's 216 minus 161. You can actually see that the number of polling stations remaining there are very, very few. I don't see miracles happening there for the ANC. However, they are leading with 73.42% in the Limpopo province, and EFF on number 2 with 13.89%, DA on number 3 with 5.98%. This is what is happening in the Limpopo province, 98.29% complete. Let us go to the next province, Northwest region. Thank you very much, Laita, for coming through. If you are here and if you are following us, please send a message and make sure that when you like, this video is going to be shown to as many people as possible who are looking for these results this morning. So we are going to 94.48%. This is Northwest region. It sits at 94.48% complete, and it's almost done. Also, ANC is leading with 59.28%. EFF number 2 at 17.27%. DA on number 3 at 12.35%. VF plus on number 4 at 2.74%. MK is on number 5 with 2.03%. This is what is happening at this point in time. And thank you very much for sending through your comments. Please continue to send through your comments so that other people who want to understand what is happening will get the feed. The more you send comments, the more you like this video, the more it is shown to as many people as possible. So please do others a favor. Let us go to the last province, the Western Cape province, Western Cape region. It's on 96.88% complete, 96.88% complete there. And this is the Western Cape. They've done 1,523 out of 1,572. So it's 72 minus 23. That is the remaining. Those are the remaining polling stations there. However, we have to talk much about the Western Cape. There is a lot which is happening there. But DA is at 53.60%. ANC is at 19.66%. Patriotic Alliance is on number 3 with 7.97%. EFF is on number 4. They've improved so much. They've gone to 5.24%. And this is what is happening. This is the top 4. Triple C is on number 5 with 2.38%. VF Plus is on 1.7%. This is what is happening there in the Western Cape province. And let us try to understand what is happening in the Western Cape province. There are allegations of massive vote rigging. There are allegations of vote rigging by the DA. DA is being accused of rigging elections in the Western Cape province. And yesterday, at the parties, I think the majority of the parties, they wrote to the IEC to ask for more time for them to be able to launch an appeal about what happened, about the fraud they claim to have happened in the Western Cape province. They are saying at a certain polling stations or at certain centers, numbers were changed. When entries were being made, numbers had changed, like what is on their result slip and what is on the slip entered into the system, things are different. So this is what the EFF and other political parties were pursuing. And it said that if those allegations are true, then it shows that these people are desperate to win an election by hook or crook. But let us go to the provincial legislatures. These are national election results at 97% so far. Let me see if there is no any improvement so far. We were at 97% complete on the national election. And let us see if there is any improvement so far. Before we go to the provincial legislature. So they are now at 97.11% complete, 97.11% complete, which means we are very, very close to the finality of this election. ANC is still sitting at 40.13%, DA 21.73%, MK 14.81%, EFF 9.36%, IFP 3.96%. Let us go to the provincial legislature. Provincial legislature is very important as well. Let us see the provincial governments in South Africa, who is going to constitute what in each and every province. So we are starting with the Eastern Cape. Eastern Cape is going to be under ANC. ANC is going to be overseeing the Eastern Cape legislature. They are going to be dealing with the Eastern Cape legislature. Remember, in South Africa, the provinces govern themselves. There are what are called provincial legislatures. They sit the same as what happens in parliament, but this is a provincial government which is there. So every province does have its own mini government, and the provincial legislature in the Eastern Cape is at 97.04% complete. 97.04 complete. We can say out of 4,867, they've dealt with 4,723. So it's almost complete there. But the ANC is leading at 63.52%, DA on number 2 at 13.82%, EFF on number 3 at 10.04%, and UDM at 3.83%, Patriotic Alliance at 2.01%. This is what is happening there, and the ANC is going to be in charge of the Eastern Cape province. So this is the first province for the ANC. They are going to be in charge of the Eastern Cape province fully because they have the majority. Let us go to Free State. So we can say ANC does have number 1 right there. Number 2, we are at 99.81% complete. 99.81% complete. 1,583 completed out of 1,586, which means that we only have 3 polling stations left right there in the Free State province. And ANC does have majority, and it sits at 52.01%. DA sits at 2.74%. EFF sits at 13.49%. VF plus 3.02%. MK 1.93%. And according to the law of majority, ANC is going to be in charge of the Free State province without any problems. They're sitting at 52.01% majority. And at this point in time, just 3 polling stations left. There are no prospects of another party changing anything. Let us go to the Gauteng and see who is going to be leading in the Gauteng region. Gauteng is quite tricky. They are sitting at 92.99%. That is 93% complete. They're left with 7% only. 2,601 senders out of 2,797. So 2,601 out of 2,797 voting districts completed. ANC is leading with 34.34%, DA at 27.91%, EFF at 12.88%. So if the DA and the EFF puts together their votes, they are surpassing the ANC there, which means the DA and the EFF, they can have a coalition government in the Gauteng province and stop ANC from being in charge. Remember, if we are to take a look onto these provincial elections, Gauteng is on number 3. Already ANC got 2 provinces, and they're not going to let them have another 3rd province there, which means they are going to have a coalition between the DA, the AFF, maybe with the MK party. They're going to have a coalition there, in my own view. MK is sitting on number 4 with 9.68%. Action SA is sitting on number 5 with 4.15%. That is what is happening there. And let us go to the next province. The next province right here is KwaZulu-Natal province. KwaZulu-Natal province. ANC is has been embarrassed in KwaZulu-Natal, a heavy blow for the ANC. MK sits at 45.29%, 45.29%, and IFP sits at 18%, ANC at 16.99%. Just imagine, Jacob Zuma took everybody and everything. Remember, EFF performed better in the last election in this province, but it seems as if MK came and took everybody's votes. MK swept all the votes in the KwaZulu-Natal province. They did extremely wonderful and extremely well, and it's 98.89% complete, and there is nothing more to expect from this. It's 4,919 out of 4,974. So it's 74 minus 19. Those are the remaining polling stations so far in the KwaZulu-Natal. And there is a possibility of the MK having a coalition government with maybe the IFP or any other party, depending, because right now they just need around 5%, a party with, or let's say 6%, a party with 6% for them to unite to have. But EFF has performed poorly in this province. I don't think that they've reached even 5%, which means they can have a coalition government in the KwaZulu-Natal region there. But combined, the IFP and the ANC, they cannot defeat the MK. So they have an upper end there, which means they can make decisions in that province. And ANC has lost 2 provinces so far. So 2 provinces lost from the ANC, and they have 2 provinces fully in charge. Let us go to Mpumalanga and see if the ANC will be in charge of Mpumalanga. This is in Mpumalanga Provincial Legislature, and they are at 99.01%. 99.01%, they are almost complete. 1,793 completed out of 1,811. So they have almost completed. ANC is sitting on a majority of 50.91%. MK on number 2 at 17.10%, EFF on number 3 with 13.87%, and DA on number 4 at 12.1%, VF plus 1.55%, and the ANC will be in charge of this province because at 99.01%, there is nothing the other parties will do to change the odds right there. So this is it. ANC is likely going to be in charge of Mpumalanga as well. Let us go to another province, Northern Cape province. Northern Cape province, ANC has already lost majority in this province, which means there might be a possibility of sort of a coalition there in the Northern Cape region. Negotiations for a coalition are likely in that region. And ANC is leading with 49.34%, DA at 21.19%, EFF 13.25%. So which means they're not going to be having an outright majority leadership in the Northern Cape. So out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they've lost 3, they have won 3. Limpopo province, let us go to Limpopo province. Yes, ANC is in charge of the Limpopo province, sitting at 73.35%, EFF at number 2 with 14.03%, DA is at 6% so far, and this is the result for this election. Remember, in the past election, ANC was seated at 77%, and EFF was at 12%. There is an improvement there to 14%, and DA was at 5%, and there's an improvement to 6% there. So seems as if they did better, but they're at 98.38%. ANC is going to be in charge of the Limpopo province again. So Limpopo province has gone to the ANC, and out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4 out of 7 so far. And Northwest, let us go to Northwest. Northwest ANC is in charge of Northwest, and the result sits at 94.76% so far. ANC is seated at 58.60%, EFF on number 2 at 17.35%, DA on number 3 at 12.63%, which means they've taken, ANC has taken this one again, they've taken this one again. This is Northwest province, ANC is in charge of this province. 94.76% complete, no coalition there. They've taken this one again. So out of 8, they've taken around, they've lost 3 out of 8, which means they're in charge of around 5, fully in charge, 5 of 5 provinces. And let us go to the last, which is Western Cape. Western Cape is under DA, and DA is very influential. It's sitting on 55.27%. ANC is sitting at 19.48%, and Patriotic Alliance is sitting at 7.90%. This is what is happening in the Western Cape there. However, there are disputes. The entries which other political parties are saying they were entered wrongly, and we'll see if they're going to be entertained. If they're going to be entertained, then there is a possibility of a recount in the Western Cape there. And so far, this is the most disputed area as much as these elections are concerned. ANC is going to be complaining about election rigging, but they were rigging the elections themselves. So this is Western Cape. So out of 9 provinces, it seems as if they've lost 4 provinces. ANC is going to be in charge completely of 5 provinces out of 9. 5 out of 9, they're in charge of 5 provinces out of 9 provinces, and these are the results so far. So let us go to the national dashboard and see if there is any change on the national dashboard there. Let us go to the national dashboard and see if there is any change. We have dealt with the National Assembly. We have also dealt with the Provincial Legislature. And let us go back to the national dashboard and see if there is an improvement. We were sitting at 97%. When we started our live program, we're seated at 97%, and we need to see if there is any improvement. We are still at 97.14%. ANC, they gained a little, now sitting at 40.14%, and DA sitting at 21.72%, MK sitting at 14.81%, EFF still at 9.37%, IFP 3.96%. 22,626 districts completed out of 23,292. You can actually see that we are almost there. We are almost there. So less than 1,000 districts left, or polling stations left, and this is the result so far. ANC is lost this election. So I need to answer some questions right here. It's very important for us to answer some questions and clarify things right here. So let us go through the comment section. If you have anything you want answered, make sure that you have sent your message through the comment section so that we deal with that matter right here. Later, thank you very much for coming. Overs says, thanks for the update. Thank you very much, Overs. Charity, morning, how are you? Martin, say morning, bro. Okay, thank you very much, Martin. Lorraine, how are you, ma'am? Thank you very much for being here as well. Overs says there's likely to be chaos after this election, like Zimbabwe. Okay, it can be a disputed election. Yes, it can be a disputed election, but we will see how far it is going to be disputed. As far as I'm concerned, it seems as if major parties they are not having much problems about the outcome so far, and negotiations for coalitions are underway. I'm reliably informed about the issues of coalitions, and meetings are happening as we speak right now. But there are areas, provinces, for example, the Western Cape, there are certain gray areas there where they're asking questions. Innocent, thank you very much for coming. And Anthony says, but sounds like ANC is on the road to win majority. ANC is not going to win any majority because they are seated at 40.1%, 40.1% there, 40.1%. There is nothing they will do with 40.1%. At 97% completed, there is no way they will jump to 50% from nowhere. 50% is unlikely at this point in time because they are too far. 9% is a very, very big percentage in terms of results so far. 9% is a very, very big. It's almost a whole province. That is almost over 1 million votes. There is no way they're going to get 1 million votes so far to jump, because 97% already dealt with. 97% already dealt with, which means 3%. It's less than 3% left. There is no way they're going to jump that much. And ANC has lost this election. They're going to negotiate for a coalition. And a coalition is like a government of national unity. What happened between Robert Mugabe and Morgan Tsvangirai in 2009 is what is going to happen in South Africa right now. That is the position, which means ANC, they're going to negotiate either with DA, EFF, MK. They're going to negotiate with these parties, any of these parties, to see which is better. And remember that Cyril Ramaphosa faces hard times at this point in time, which means if he makes mistakes, then he's out of the ANC, he's recalled. So at this point in time, Cyril Ramaphosa will have to play along. The ANC rules and demands, and is not going to make any silly demands, because if he does so, he's going to be out. What are the suggestions that Jacob Zuma is trying to push for Paul Mashatile to take over the ANC, and Julius Malema to be the vice president of South Africa? These are some of the negotiations put on the table, although unconfirmed, but it's said that the MK through Jacob Zuma, they have made demands that Paul Mashatile takes over the leadership of ANC, becomes the candidate, and is deputized by by Julius Malema. And that means Cyril Ramaphosa will be out if that conclusion is reached. So it depends with what the ANC wants. If the ANC decides to go with Ramaphosa, then it means they will have to negotiate with other parties. We'll see if Jacob Zuma is going to bow down or do anything. But remember, he's sitting at 14% of the total vote, which means he's so influential in this. So Nora, thank you very much for coming. Lawrence, thank you very much for coming. And ANC has gone down for sure. Kalisina Mapanzula says democracy Africa. Thank you very much. Ezekiel says great results as long as there is peace in the country. Yes, we need peace in South Africa. We don't need to see things happening. And on Monday, that is when we are going to see real things, because on Monday, if anything happens, you are going to see the markets responding to the election results, which means that there is need to have to be a great negotiating skill for those who have won. There is need to be the power sharing between the markets, those who control the economy and those who control the politics. They need to find each other. Brian says Dambudzo Ashava. Yes, in Zimbabwe, we talked about it yesterday. Things are not well within ZANU-PF. They are angry. They're not happy with the outcome because they did everything they could. They funded the ANC, but it has failed. And Joseph says, how has Malema performed? Malema is sitting at around 9.3%. There is no much from Malema because MK came and took votes from both sides. The coming of MK affected both the EFF and the ANC, but for the greater good of the country of South Africa and for the people of Zimbabwe in particular. So Young says, I think MKDA and Malema must form GNU so that they will remove Ramaphosa, hence ED will face downfall. Personally, I do not see this kind of a government coming. Yes, it's a possibility it might come, but I don't see this coming. This is my own view. I don't think Steenhuisen is in a position to be part of this thing. Remember, DA is the biggest party, opposition party so far, with more than 20%, and MK is sitting at around 14%, EFF at 9%, which means if they are to have that coalition, you are going to see Steenhuisen claiming to be the president. He wants to be the presidential candidate. So that is going to create a conflict. Remember, Steenhuisen hates blacks. And if they do so, there will be chaos. That government is not going to survive at a national level. So at national level, there are policies which are being pursued in South Africa. I can point out to you that they are pursuing nationalization of the South African bank, the Reserve Bank. They are pursuing nationalization of land. They are pursuing nationalization of mines. These are three key issues they are pursuing there, which means there is no way Steenhuisen is going to allow Zuma and Malema to pursue the issue of land, to pursue the issue of banks, to pursue the issue of mines. There is no way they're going to allow that to happen, which means the only party which can dance around the demands of the EFF and the MK is the ANC, because within the ANC there are people who still support Zuma. Zuma still claims to be part of the ANC, which means he still has quite control within the ANC structures. There are people who no longer want Ramaphosa. Paul Mashatile no longer want Ramaphosa to continue to be there. You want Ramaphosa out, and for them to do it perfectly, they want the support of the MK and the EFF, which means there are greater chances of a government of the ANC, EFF, and MK without Ramaphosa there. So it depends with the outcomes of the negotiations, who is going to be better than the other. And Joseph, I think I've answered. Amos says, why did you people of SA not vote for Malema? You know, the people of South Africa, they were more exposed to ANC. The bigger regions were more exposed to ANC, and other regions, DA has been there. Remember that DA has been in charge of almost many areas with more people. And Edmo says Malema should be in the presidium. That is the request of some people. They're saying Malema should be included. Okay, DA was consistent and held well overall. Yes, DA did well. They maintained their support base. You know, it's a matter of having a completely different support base. For example, DA does have its loyal supporters from the white community and other black communities. But the colored community went on to side with Patriotic Alliance of Mackenzie. Mackenzie had two policies. He was talking about coloreds and he was talking about foreigners. And that made him earn some votes, especially in two provinces. I think it's Free State and Western Cape there. He did better. He performed well there, and you know, DA maintained its ground force. It maintained its numbers. So far, as much as we are concerned, we are sitting at 97.14% complete so far, and still more are coming. We have less than 3% now, 2-point-something% left around for us to conclude this election. But from the numbers, it seems as if there is no turning back in South Africa. At this point in time, we can conclusively say Ramaphosa is out. We can conclusively say it's now about negotiations. It depends now with how Ramaphosa is going to negotiate. Young says, you are right, but Malema must humble himself and stop open borders and land distribution for now to gain people for the next election. You know, what I think is political dynamics have changed in South Africa significantly. This is going to change a lot of things. You are going to see a lot of new things happening. If they get into the coalition government, they'll get ministries. So it's not a matter of the policy they have for foreigners. It's about the policy that we have in terms of ministries. They are going to be in charge. So if you are given a ministry, for example, a ministry of mines, it depends with how you are going to perform in that ministry to make sure that the people benefits more. So those who are going to have better policies are the people who are going to make it in the next election. So if we are to predict about the next election, that is in 2029, there is a great possibility that Julius Malema, as he is, if he plays his cards very well, he can be the darling of South Africa in 2029. There is no doubt there. Jacob Zuma believes in Malema. There is no doubt there. He believes Malema can do better. And now that Jacob Zuma is in charge and Duduzile Zuma is going to be in charge of the MK, you can actually see kind of a coalition between the MK and the EFF, which means in the future you can see Duduzile Zuma working out to be the next vice president of South Africa, while Julius Malema is working out to be the next president of South Africa. There can be sort of those shifts, and you see the MK performing, the EFF performing in pursuit of such kind of a government for the 2029 elections, where the MK will be eyeing to take some more areas. Remember, the MK performed well in KwaZulu-Natal and in Mpumalanga, and the AFF has been dotted around the whole country, which means there are greater prospects for the EFF to grow much bigger in different provinces. For example, in the next election, the EFF can take over the Limpopo province and other various provinces dotted around around South Africa, and the MK can maintain Mpumalanga, they can maintain in KwaZulu-Natal. And EFF, if they perform well, there is a great possibility that they will do better even in Gauteng provinces. So what is needed right now is a strategy for those who get into power to do what is right and to run to play their cards correctly. So this is what is happening right now. Lorraine says, okay, overs. Let me go. Ezekiel says DA is not good at all. It's a threat to our black nation. Yeah, it's going to be a chaos if they are to have a coalition with the DA. Over says there is prophecy, but angel that there shall be gunshots in dates after election. This is a result of what they did to Israel. I think ANC's 4 is a result of fighting Israel, God's chosen. Okay, thank you very much, Overs, for this contribution. You know, we said, I think ANC overstepped its boundaries when they started fighting global wars. They were supposed to be focusing on their domestic wars, but they've gone to global wars, and they have not resolved the regional wars, like for example, the situation in Zimbabwe, but they've gone international to fight Israel. Chain, thank you very much. Lauren says, I'm not privy of issues to DA leadership and racism, but worry of completely black run entities. Look how Western Cape is well run, while Eastern Cape under ANC is so impoverished. Yeah, I quite agree with you to a certain extent, but if you take a look on someone like Steenhuisen is not a leader. Imagine if we had Musi Maimane at the helm of the DA. It was going to have a more impact in terms of having a coalition. There was not going to be a problem in having a coalition with Musi Maimane at the helm. But with John Steenhuisen at the top, that man is so arrogant. That man does not respect blacks, and there will be chaos all over. That is the reason why I don't see any meaningful combination between DA and any other party. That will cause a lot of chaos and a lot of anarchy in South Africa. Lawrence says, no Ramaphosa at Saudi summit. It depends with what is going to happen, because remember, parliament in South Africa, it does have 400 seats. Out of those 400 seats, 201 MPs must vote for a president. So if 201 MPs decide to vote for a particular candidate, then that candidate wins. So it depends with the negotiations. Negotiations are underway, demands are being made. That is when a decision is going to be made. The ANC will table its candidate, other parties will table their own candidates. They'll then find each other and see who is going to win. So a coalition cannot be ruled out because ANC has failed to get to 50%, which means they will need another party to help them. So the EFF can push, but not to, because the EFF alone is less than 10%, which means with ANC seated at 40%, there are no prospects of EFF and ANC having a coalition without any other third party. They will need an additional party for EFF and ANC to have a coalition. And for the MK to join hands with all other parties, it will be a very, very big coalition. And that will not make sense because disagreements will be many. And you can foresee EFF, MK, and ANC working together. There is a possibility of those three parties working together there. Andrew, okay, Lesiba says coalitions is not effective. We'll see going forward. Yeah, if it is a coalition of people who understand each other with the same vision and same mission, there is not going to be any problem. Okay, thank you very much. And Talent says, do you know kuti abata Israel mboni yeziso ramwari here? Baba, I don't support what Israel did as zvimwe zvine chituko ngatisiyane nazvo. Yes, you know, there are certain issues, gray areas with Israel. And personally, I disagreed with how ANC handled the issue of Israel. They set themselves up. The same, you know, the same thing with what they did with ZANU PF. They angered a lot of people in South Africa again, especially their association in the ZANU PF. It affected them so much. Chain says, so what if DA, MK, and if EFF form a government? Is it possible? DA is sitting at 20% so far. 20% for the DA, plus 14%, 20 plus 14, that is around 34%, and the EFF plus 9. Yes, they can form a coalition and form a government, but this is where I'm worried about what will be the role of Steenhuisen. If Steenhuisen agrees not to be a president, if he agrees not to be a president, then there is no problem. But what it means is you see MK tabling a new presidential candidate, and you see Malema being given the vice presidency, because I don't see Malema becoming president of South Africa now. I don't see Malema becoming president of South Africa now. It will be very dangerous for them to trade in such a direction. Though we have to find a presidential candidate for the MK party, given that Zuma was barred to come to parliament by the Constitutional Court, it will take time for them to fight that and remove that conviction against Zuma, which means there are prospects that they will need to have a new candidate. If they are to have such a coalition, we have to see a new person emerging for the MK party to come and lead MK as a president. Then Julius Malema as the vice president, and Steenhuisen as a minister. That way, a coalition can work between the three parties. But we have to wait and see if that is going to be possible, because the three of them, they command majority, which means ANC cannot unite with any other parties except DA, DA and MK. So you will see that a lot of negotiations. Let us see what the negotiations are going to bring. At this point in time, we cannot make decisions. These are just assumptions. We are just predicting some things out of our heads. But meetings are happening as we are speaking, which means after those meetings, we can safely understand what is happening. So Tendai says, Ramaphosa zvaendwa, God is in it. And Say White says, ANC, EFF, and MK will form a good combination and fight for their land. It will benefit the whole South Africa. Yes, Say White, I agree with you there. I believe that is the only possible outcome you are going to see, because the way these people are talking about nationalization of land, mines, and banks, it seems as if the majority of them, they are on the same page. Do you know that at a certain point in time, Parliament was very close to pass for expropriation of land without compensation, but it was stopped last minute by Cyril Ramaphosa. Under Zuma, they had done well. It was stopped by Cyril Ramaphosa when he took over, and that angered Julius Malema and other people who had fought for expropriation of land without compensation. So that is very important to note, that right now they're going to pursue expropriation of land without compensation, and with them together, without Ramaphosa, there is a great possibility that this will pass through in Parliament. So this is it. Let me end this program right here. We are sitting at 97.14%. Let me see. Let me refresh my page and see if there are any improvements or any additions or subtractions there, so that we know what is happening at this point in time, which means we have to go out quite a bit and come back. Let us see the percentage so far and see if we can complete with this one. Also, it's 97.18% complete so far, and 97.18 complete so far. It means we still have 2% more to go, 2% plus more to go, and ANC is seated at 40.14%, DA 21.72%, MK 14.82%, EFF 9.37%, which means this is great performance from the EFF and the MK. They did well in this election, because if you put together the percentages they have, they are even bigger than DA, which means it's an advantage to the black opposition there. But we'll wait to see what is going to happen. So it's 97.18%. We have talked about the possibilities. Is Ramaphosa going to continue being president? It depends with what the ANC is going to decide, and what the demands are from the coalitions. Blessings says, MK and EFF is not possible because these are brothers. Okay, Eva says, thank you, Lord, ANC hate us so much. So this is it. Let us end this program now, and we still have that link for the final results on. So we are going to come back and give you final results as they trickle in. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for the comments. I love you all. Please make sure that you have subscribed. Make sure that you have subscribed. Make sure that you have turned on the notification bell so that we come with the live results. You'll be able to be notified in time. And please, we have around 300 people, 323 people live so far. If you like this video, all of you, just press the like button before we end this. More than 300 people live here. Please press the like button. Press the like button. I beg you to press the like button so as to make this video trend and be seen by a lot of people who are following South African elections. So this is what is happening. Thank you very much for coming. I love you all. May the good Lord bless you and watch over you. Let us meet in another episode.